October. It is time to start the garden.
Yes. Hello, and welcome to A Little Piece Promised Land. So, it is that time of the year again, and this year hopefully we'll make it through the entire garden season on video.
It's certainly the hope.
Yes.
But it is October. It is time to start the garden.
Yes. So, if you're new to the channel, you should know a little bit about us. We live in northern Israel on the coastal region, and that means that we are in a USDA zone 11B. What that means is that it is too hot here to garden during the summer. So instead, we garden on the biblical calendar schedule, which means that we put our garden together in October, sometimes mid-September, depending on the break. It's been getting hotter recently.
Yeah.
So basically we garden from October until June. July and August will fry pretty much anything, and I think we've only found 3 things that survive over the summer.
The magic tomatoes.
No, the amaranth did okay, yeah. But those are specifically tropical things that will do well. The roselle did well the year before.
Yeah.
But most everything else dies. So we kind of realized that even in the summer, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of water to keep the gardening going. So we just decided that was going to be our break time.
10 months is enough.
The second thing you should know about us is that we live on a very small suburban plot. And so we have revamped our driveway into a garden area. But this year we're going to be making some changes.
Yep, we got a car, and so it's time to actually...
We got the car last year.
So we had the car, we've been enjoying the car, and we've been using street side parking, and we figured, maybe we should actually put the car in the driveway, especially with the rainy season coming.
A little bit about that. So we got the car right before last season, but we'd already turned the driveway into a garden space, and I figured it would be fine. And the car is mainly for Ephraim, and effectively it turned out to be a point of contention in our marriage, with me expecting him to park on the street side parking instead of using the driveway. So we came to the conclusion after a year of last year's garden and us having this argument that we were going to make some changes. So we are going to widen the space in the driveway dedicated to the car and narrow the space in the driveway dedicated to the garden to create a balance that works for both of us. Yay, compromise. And to make up for the space that I'm losing and also add a little bit of extra space, we are going to reclaim a garden bed that we had gotten rid of in previous years. Before we had the driveway garden, we had a garden bed in our backyard that we decommissioned and decided to give more space for the children because we had our quail coop in the backyard as well.
Where we're standing right now.
We're now going to have a narrower bed footprint in the driveway, space for the car, and recommissioning the bed in the backyard, and we have gotten rid of the quail coop.
We moved upstairs. We harvested some of them earlier in the spring.
Yes.
We have a lot of cats here in Israel. Cats are considered a pest animal.
Yes. Yes.
And in fact, when you go and look to rent an apartment in Israel, and they say no pets, they mean no dogs. They don't even consider that people would want to have a cat. Of course, once you bring it up, they say, oh, yeah, I guess that's a pet too. But we say no pets, so no cats either. So there's a lot of street cats everywhere. People feed them sometimes. They eat a lot out of the garbage. They make lots of noise. And specifically for us, they would just sit and stalk the quail inside the quail coop.
It was too stressful for them, and there was nothing that we could do to get rid of them. So we moved them to a better location where they won't have the predator pressure um, that drove them crazy. Next couple of videos, we're going to be going over the process of getting our gardening season started, how we're going to do our expansion, and the first step for that was taking apart the quail coop.
We've successfully done that. We're standing here and there is no quail coop.
The next thing that we had to do was we have a pallet compost bed, and we're going to be, while we're very happy with the pallet compost bed, we need more space for gardening stuff, and so we have opted to switch to a commercial composting bin. And we're going to have a separate video on putting together that commercial composting bin and what we like and don't like about it, and you should be seeing that shortly. And I mean it this time because I did it already. Israel right now, like a lot of people in the world, has a COVID-19 problem. And so we are on our lockdown number 2. And that means that we can't actually get to the farm that we normally pick up our compost from. And we featured the farm in previous videos, but did we post that one?
I don't know if we did.
Okay.
There are
so,
horses, and
yes.
they really enjoy it, and they like hanging out with us.
So this little guy is responsible.
Not so little. And I had yet to hit a course with the car, so we're still invited back.
Anywho.
Yeah, seriously, we drive carefully around the places.
They're very curious animals.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily for us, we have our composting bin, because if we depended solely on going to the farm to pick up compost, we would be, what is it?
Out of luck.
Yes. And so I'm very glad that we have our compost bin, but now we have to sift it, and it's now more of a do or die kind of thing, rather than being able to just pick up compost and then sifting it when we feel like it. Well, to make room, the next step is moving the compost bin, which will shorten our bed space on the sunny side of the yard, but we're going to replace our pallet wood compost bin with a commercial compost bin that will hopefully speed up our process of composting.
It should also help us with harvesting the compost throughout the year, not just once a year at about this time of the year.
So let's get started with that.
Now that the bin is built, we have to fill it. The bottom pallet was almost completely disintegrated, but on to the next thing. With that done, it's time to move the trampoline. After getting the new bin into position, we found a lot of finished compost. And that should be it for this week. Thanks for watching.